Hi guys, That's Song Review Guy here, and on today's episode of Charts in the Past, we look back at the top 10 biggest selling singles of August the 15th, 1995. Kicking things off at number 10 is Boom 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 by the Outhere brothers. The duo who have all the charm of an anal prolapse are the American hip-hop / house artists Keith Maybury and Lamar Mahoney. Starting off in 1987 and continuing to this very day, despite the fact that these two haven't dropped a charting single since 1997 and haven't released a studio album since 1998, these two, to this country's everlasting shame, which will haunt them from now until the sun decides to fuck us in the arse, have 4 top 20 singles, 2 of which were #1 hits, which include this piece of shit. I'm going to keep this as brief as I possibly can because this song doesn't deserve any sort of recognition. This song is about these fuckers' desire to fuck some woman in the arse. Failing that, he would like to eat her arsehole. Subtle, I know. All the while the music is this dull, thudding house music that lacks any sort of memorable qualities to it. This is one of those songs that I seriously struggle to listen to the whole way through. Honestly, I had to stop multiple times just to be able to complete the whole listening experience. And boy do I wish I could take it back. Easily one of the worst songs I have ever listened to in my life, and trust me, that statement can be very hyperbolic, but never has it been more truer here. At number 9 is I'm Only Sleeping by Suggs. There seems to be a recurring theme here on this segment because once again we have a cover of a Beatles song making the top 10. This particular song, coming off of the Revolver album, is being brought to us by the lead vocalist of Madness, the hugely popular ska group from 1976 to 1986, reforming in 1992, where they still continue to this very day. Graham McPherson, more commonly known to you and me as Suggs. Suggs' solo career, whilst decent, obviously pales in comparison to his career with Madness, but as a soloist the guy has released 2 studio albums, the first peaking at number 14 and the second at number 82, has released 7 singles, 3 of which cracked the top 20, with this track being his second most commercially successful track, peaking at number 7. Coming off of his debut solo album, The Lone Ranger, and accompanied by music that's the atypical ska style that's commonly associated with Madness, the lyrics are basically about the lead singer waking up after the previous night's sleep, only to fall back to sleep and asking everyone around him not to wake him up and to leave him where he is. As far as the cover goes, it's a good cover. It sucks. You can't play down much of the guy's work, to be honest. He is pretty awesome. At number 8 is Shy Guy by Diana King. Another song coming from an artist whose career basically floundered after their first exposure to the world of commercial radio. This time it's the song Shy Guy from the Jamaican-born reggae / dance music artist Diana King. With a career spanning over 20 years, King's discography consists of 5 albums where only the first made the top 50 here in the UK, has dropped 16 singles with just 1 cracking the top 5, which turns out to be this very song here, which peaked at number 2. And despite being linked with some huge names which include the Notorious B.I.G., Celine Dion and Madonna, this seems to be another case of early promise going to the wayside. But to be honest, the song really isn't all that bad. Okay, it's barely intelligible and it's hard to understand what's being said. You definitely need the lyrics in front of you for this one. But in terms of its sound, the fusion of the bass, reggae and dance to instrumentation is actually a decent combination, and it's definitely 1,000 times better than the rest of the dance music that's going to be appearing in the latter parts of this list. The lyrics are basically Diana's desire to be in a relationship with a quote shy guy. She's not interested in a player or someone who's going to constantly chase other women left, right and centre. No, instead she wants someone who's guaranteed not to stray and is going to be hers and hers alone. It's a good sentiment, good sound. In fact, everything's good. Again, you can barely understand what's being said in some areas, but trust me, considering some of the songs on this list that I can understand, yeah, I'll take this one over those any day of the week. At number 7 is Try Me Out by Corona. Eurodance now, and today it comes from the Italian-Brazilian trio of Corona, a group who have dropped 4 albums, only 2 of which have entered the charts here in the UK, and only 1 of those made the top 20, have had 5 of their 20 previously released singles cracking the top 40, first 3 making the top 10, with this song peaking at number number 6 and are still going strong to this day. Okay, it's only in their native Italy, but every cloud, right? The group have had many people come and go, lending a hand in production, writing, vocals, etc. So I'm not 100% sure who contributed what to this song. What I do know is that whoever is delivering these vocals to this song, the execution is pretty god-awful. The girl can hold a note, to a degree, but the layering of synthetic effects and the delivery of some of the lyrics are full of these weird inflections that the overall result leaves you wondering whether this woman can actually sing or not. Delivering your atypical Eurodance music, full of the usual bleeps, bloops, beeping and synthetic whines, the lyrics are about the female lead begging her lover to try her out. What does that involve? Well, it involves dressing up for this bloke, wanted to make him go weak for her treat, which I think we all know what that means, and that in return he is going to have to make her melt. A dirt average track, nothing special, and a constant reminder that Eurodance and house music didn't really start becoming good until the late 90s. Next. At number 6 is Son of a Gun by JX, another song from the Eurodance house music genre, this time coming courtesy of British DJ and remixer Jake Williams, aka JX. This particular DJ's career is incredibly minimal to say the least. The guy's career, which started out in 1990, has culminated in the release of one studio album, which was released in 2008 and peaked at number 38, has released 6 singles, the first being in 1994, the last being in 2004, 2 of which made the top 10, with this being the second most commercially successful, peaking at number 6. The vocals delivered by a female singer who I have no idea who it is, and trust me, I've tried finding out who it is and I've had no luck at all. The lyrics are built on just 13 words. And yes, I have counted. A man that's on the run is a goddamn son of a gun, over and over again, with vocal inflections here and there over an unchanging electronic beat. And yeah, that's it. At number 5 is Kiss from a Rose by Seal. Thank Christ, a good song has finally arrived. Real name Henry Lusagan Adiola Samuel, Kiss from a Rose is probably Seal's most well-known track around the world. Famously used in the soundtrack to the movie Batman Forever, the song originally charted in the UK in 1994, but it just sneaked into the top 20. Re-released a year later, the song eventually peaked at number 4, topping the singles charts in Australia and the US, has been covered to death by so many people, was the 58th biggest selling song of the decade in the US, and won the 1996 Grammy for Record and Song of the Year. Under his belt, Seal has 2 number 1 studio albums, 6 of which hit the top 20, has had 5 top 20 solo singles and 1 number 1 single as a featured artist. You could reasonably argue that the public have been quite shitty to Seal, and yeah, they kinda have, because the guy deserved way much better, and his results are quite measly to say the least. Nevertheless, we gotta take what we've got, and you couldn't have asked for better with this track. The lyrics seem to evoke the imagery of Seal describing his love interest to that of a drug. Not a new or revolutionary topic, I'll argue that, but the construction of the lyrics invokes such beautiful imagery that the song becomes incredibly evocative. I defy anyone out there who wasn't the slightest bit awestruck upon their first listen of this track and still doesn't get swept up in this song to this day. It's one of the very few songs where only the original artist could ever do justice to this song. It's delivered with so much intensity, humbleness and gentleness in all of the right places that anyone else singing this song, it just feels synthetic. The instrumentation for this song really brings everything together perfectly. Kind of off-kilter, yet heavily influenced with an adult contemporary feel. It starts off with background harmonies that deliver the hook before a flute comes into the mix, echoing the same hook. Finger-picked acoustic guitars, piano, soft drums before building up into the chorus, bass and a string arrangement full of a myriad of inflections and different points of the track to give it a lot more texture and flavour. It really is a standout track of the mid-90s, one of the many many songs on the pages of history that were cruelly robbed of the #1 spot in the UK. Nevertheless, it's such a great track that, honestly, it never needed the #1 spot to be recognised as a great song in the first place. At number 4 is Waterfalls by TLC. Considered by many as the signature song from the R&B and hip-hop Atlanta-based trio consisting of Tioni Watkins, Rosonda Thomas and Lisa Lopez until her death in 2002, Waterfalls was a worldwide smash hit from a group who's achieved a fair amount in their time. Scoring 10 top 10 singles in the UK, the second, third and fourth album peaked at number 1, have sold 65 million albums worldwide, making them the second highest selling girl group of all time, behind the Spice Girls, and have won a buttload of music awards from 1993 through to 2000. Despite not releasing an album for nearly 13 years, the group still have a huge following, and with the promise of a 5th album on the horizon, all thanks to a Kickstarter campaign, it looks like that the remaining duo are going to be back real soon. But until that time, the song, which was the 29th biggest selling single in the UK in 1995, the 19th biggest selling single of the decade in the US, features guest vocals from Deborah Killins and CeeLo Green, who won 4 MTV awards that year, is a song that tackles 2 big issues that were rife in the 90s. One being the illegal drugs trade, which is the main focus of the first verse of this song, recanting a story of a mother who's desperate to try to get through to her son that this is not the life that he should lead, all the while sticking beside him, cannot tempt him away from this life, which ultimately results in him being killed during the deal. And the second being the HIV/AIDS pandemic, which is the focus of verse 2, which tells the story of a young man whose history of unprotected sex results in him catching the debilitating virus, which ends up with him dying because of said virus. Third verse is where Lisa focuses on aspects of her own life, highlighting that through turbulent times that she herself has experienced through domestic and alcohol related issues, it's important to remain tough and battle through these tough times. Subtle yet graphic imagery with great music consisting of an occasional brass section, funky bassline, electric guitar, synths and drums. It's a brilliant song with little to zero flaws to it. An absolute timeless track and highly recommended. At number 3 is So Good by Boyzone. The second most successful boy band in Britain as of 2013, this all-Irish group's 15-year career consists of 6 top 20 studio albums, the first 4 going to number 1, 18 top 10 singles, 6 of which went to number 1, have sold 25 million records worldwide and have won numerous awards, which include 4 Brits, an Ivor Novello Award, a couple of European Music Awards, and the title for Record of the Year for Best Single in 1998, as voted for by the British public. Their first stint together was incredibly successful, and so when their split came in 2000, amid rumours that there were tensions between group members, it did come as a surprise to many. The group got back together in 2007 for a reunion tour and have stayed together since, even after the untimely death of original member Stephen Gately in October 2009 due to a pulmonary edema. Boyzone were your atypical young boy band targeting the feeblest of demographic, the young to teenage female market, and this song pretty much reeks of that. It's not overly offensive to the sense like a lot of early One Direction material, but it's hardly anything constructive like Take That's earliest works. It's your atypical boy meets girl and boy tries to woo the girl by telling her that the two of them will be so good together no matter what anyone tells them. Lyrically it's basic, but not in the sense that the vocal delivery carries any sort of dramatic weight or depth to the song. Music consists of electronic drum beats, synthetics, strings and an electric guitar opening that's actually not that bad but becomes barely audible once the rest of the instrumentation comes into play. By far one of the weaker Boyzone tracks, and that's not me hating on the group. They did actually release some pretty good tracks and no doubt I'll get to them at some point during this series. At number 2 is I Love You Baby by The Original. The creation of the American electronic house music group The Original, I Love You Baby, composed by Giuseppe Nuzzo and Walter Tabe, along with the vocals coming courtesy of Broadway singer Everett Brown, Bradley. This song peaked at number 2 in the UK, and the only other place where it made any traction that I could find was in the Netherlands, where it peaked at number 32. I would tell you more about this group, but honestly, I can't find much on them. As far as I'm aware, this group only had one hit here, and much like other one-time electronic artists that have one major hit then bugger off, they were never to be heard from again. The music's nothing much to comment about. It's atypical booming house music. Lyrics about the lead's infatuation with his lady love and feel the need to convey his feelings through song. It's decent enough, harmless, and was pretty much one of the many house music hits that were going to come throughout the rest of the 90s. And the song that was number 1 on August 15th, 1995 was Never Forget by Take That. Historically one of the most successful all-male groups that the UK have ever produced, Take That's history consists of 28 top 40 singles, 17 top 5 singles, 12 of which reached number 1, have released 7 studio albums, all except for the first one have peaked at number 1. Globally, they've achieved 56 number 1 singles, 37 number 1 albums, and have won 8 Brit Awards. Their original split in 1996, soon after the departure from former member Robbie Williams. To say that the fans took this news badly would be a gross understatement. I'm serious. Fans at the time took to the streets with placards, were crying in the streets, and even threatened suicide due to their split. Yeah, I'm not joking, it was that serious. While in hindsight we can all laugh about how pathetic it is that some people resort to such depths due to the split of their not so precious boy band, it did mean the end of a group that did actually have a modicum of talent to them. Nevertheless, their return in 2005 was strong. Never Forget is, in my opinion at least, one of the top 3 best songs that Tanya have ever done, and it stayed at number 1 for 3 weeks. Many theories suggest that this song is about the group itself. Nearing the group's split, Barlow claimed that he wrote this song as the group's anthem, highlighting that the group have been on such a great journey, but the group cannot run forever, and asked the fans to never forget what the group have done, and the lyrics definitely do reflect that. Recorded in 1994, released in 95 on their 3rd studio album of the same name, Never Forget is perhaps their most distinguishable track the group has ever done. For one, it opens up with the vocals courtesy of the Helen Boys Choir from Denbighshire in Wales. The song is predominantly sung by Howard Donald, who, for the majority of the group's discography, is shoved in the background, and the instrumentation is a great blend of orchestration and pop, complete with timpanis, a brass and string section, anthemic foot stomps and claps, drums, electronic effects, bass line, and electric guitars. It's a great combination with soul, gospel singers, and the choir, and doesn't drown out the vocal performances at all. And that's it. Those were the top 10 biggest selling singles on the 15th of August 1995. What do you guys think? Have you heard the songs? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you agree with my opinions? Disagree with them? However you feel, leave them in the comment section. I welcome all opinions. And until next time, I'm That Song Review Guy, and take care.